It's a game 7. This series has been stellar. It's win or go home.
Denver just outworking the hustle plays.
They can't miss.
And I didn't see this coming at all, the way this series has gone. It's been an offensive explosion for the Nuggets in that third quarter. Everything going right.
Denver dominates game 7, and it's on to the second round for the Nuggets.
Good all the way around for Denver. We're going to focus in, though, on a guy by the name of Russell Westbrook, because he's been something the last couple of games. There's Nikola. He's always something. After game 1, Russ had an interesting take on his role on the team.
My job is to be able to be the low man and find ways to keep my leg up.
Yeah, just kind of mess things up when you get in there. So, yeah, that's something like jumps the route there. Gives it to Aaron Gordon for the slam. So making his presence felt, and then misses the foul shot. But look at him. Beats everyone to the ball and puts it back in. Emotion, intensity, he's always done that. And then there he goes. Steals another one. 36 years old, still bouncy. Hanging on the rim a little there. And then he does it again. And he's going to get a little bit more hang time on the rim. Yeah, on the trapeze. He gets a tee, but it doesn't matter at this point. They're up by 30-something points. Here's what it sounded like on the Nuggets Broadcast Network.
Stolen! Look out below! There he goes again! That's going to be a technical foul, and Westbrook doesn't care. The only people he's not yelling at is the announcers.
Russ, 4th player ever with 15 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals in a game 7. Here he is reiterating his role.
My job for this team is to bring my energy, bring my competitive spirit, nature, whatever that may be. I think I told y'all this after game 1. Excuse my language for my kids at home, but to go in and up. And that's what I did.
ESPN NBA insider and senior writer Ramona Shelburne joins us now. And Ramona, the Nuggets ownership, they made that decision to fire Mike Malone 79 games into the season. They replaced him with David Adelman, and now they're on to the second round after cruising past the Clippers tonight. So what did that coaching change do for this team?
You know, I was talking to a Nuggets executive before the game, and he said, I don't think we're here in this game 7 if we don't make that change. And when I talked to Nikola Jokic afterwards, I said, you said afterwards when they made that change, he was standing there in Sacramento for the first game under David Adelman, and he said, when ownership makes a change like that, they do it to give us a jolt. He goes, they got exactly what they wanted out of that change, because the Nuggets have really found themselves in this series. Sometimes, I know it's a 7-game series. They lost a couple of games big, but this game here, game 7 at home, was their best game since David Adelman has taken over. And you head right into Oklahoma City, where you're playing a 68-win team.
Ramon, you mentioned it. It was kind of a back-and-forth series, some of them a little bit lopsided, but tonight, lopsided as well, because the Clippers, they just fell flat in this deciding game. How was Kawhi Leonard responding to such a disappointing end of the season for his team?
Well, listen, Kawhi said at the beginning of the year his goal was to make it to the end of the year healthy. And that sounds simple, but for Kawhi Leonard, that is everything, because he has always gotten hurt at the wrong times. They've had playoff runs where he gets hurt in the middle of the series, or he's trying to be healthy as he heads into the end of the year. And this year he finally did make it here healthy at the end of the season. He's not going into the offseason trying to rehab something or having another surgery, but he said, I'm still thinking about this loss, even though he's proud of the fact that he's here, but I'm still thinking about the loss, and that's really not, their goal was not to lose in the first round of the playoffs, even though, quite frankly, they lost Paul George as a free agent. Nobody really gave them much of a chance this year. So for them to have the kind of finish they did to the year and close it out, even though they lose in 7 here, is a pretty good end to the year.
Yeah, it's always hard to lose, but especially in a game 7, the way that they did, such a blowout fashion there. Ramona Shelburne joining us with the latest here on SportsCenter. Ramona, thanks.
Sports HQ NBA analyst John Gonzalez. John, we talked pregame about this game, and I'm not sure that I saw it happening this way. Your reaction to an absolute blowout. Now, the score perhaps not indicative of the final score, but that was over in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was utter devastation, domination by the Nuggets. I didn't anticipate this. I thought that they would want to avenge last year when they blew that 20-point lead against the Wolves. But, man, the Clippers didn't put up much of a fight at all. I mean, you had all 5 players plus Russell Westbrook in double figures for the Nuggets, who just blew them out in the second half. I mean, the Clippers didn't even bother playing Kawhi and James Harden in that fourth quarter. And if you want to know, yeah, it was a 19-point game on the scorecard here, and maybe the box score makes it look like it was closer than it actually was. It was not. That was the Clippers' second unit actually showing some pride because the first unit didn't. And if you want to know how bad this blowout actually was and how much that the Nuggets absolutely throttled the Clippers, look no further than one Russell Westbrook, who in the fourth quarter threw down a dunk and decided to swing on the rim like he was a kid in a schoolyard, back and forth, knowing he was going to get a technical, knowing he's going to get fined, not caring at all, just basically dancing on the Clippers' grave. Yeah, that was a blowout.
He had 16 points off the bench for the Nuggets. If he was still playing for the Clippers, that would have been the second most points for the Clippers because James Harden did not have the second most points for the Clippers behind Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was good. James Harden was not. Again, another no-show in a Game 7, in an elimination game for James Harden. 2 of 8 for 7 points. Yeah, he had 13 assists, but, John, we talked about this pregame as well. Another Houdini act for one James Harden.
Yeah, so he had 13 assists, 10 of those in the first half, and you could think, okay, well, maybe he's setting up the other guys and he's trying to get the Clippers going. You lose this game by 19. You could have lost this game by 40, frankly, if the Nuggets had kept in their starters. James Harden, you're setting up other players who are inferior to you offensively. In a game where the only person in the first unit who really showed out and showed up was Kawhi Leonard, they needed your offense. They did not need your playmaking as much as they needed you to be the second best scorer on this team, which you are, at least on paper. Unfortunately, this game isn't played on paper. It's played on the court. And once again, in a Game 7 where you need James Harden to be a superhero and an all-star and a former MVP, he vanished. Ask Sixers fans and the Sixers organization how that goes. Ask the Rockets when he played for the Rockets when he was an MVP, how that goes. It happened again for the Clippers. And I'd like to say that I'm surprised, but I'm not. I mean, James Harden is a very good player, and he had an excellent season. In a year where Kawhi Leonard didn't get onto the team and play in the regular season until much later in the year because they were trying to bring him along slowly and make sure that he was healthy. James Harden was the one who ran that offense and generated points for them and made sure that he was distributing and getting everybody involved. Tonight, 13 assists gets you absolutely nowhere, and they're going home because of it.
Do you think the reason to hold Kawhi back was more of a necessity, or do you think it was more in trying to prepare for the postseason?
Yeah, was trying to prepare for the postseason, and at least by what we saw in this 7-game series, that part worked, right? That panned out. They had an idea, they had a theory of the case that let's not worry about Kawhi early in the year. Let's bring him along slowly. Let's bring him along towards the back end of the regular season, and then hopefully he'll be healthy for the playoffs. Well, that part worked out. He was excellent in the series. Kawhi Leonard was not the problem. The fact that he played all 7 games and was, frankly, probably the best player for either team throughout the series, that's a win for the Clippers. The problem was everything else. This is the oldest team, Akeem, in the NBA. James Harden, you needed more from him throughout. He was inconsistent. He had a good Game 6, but an awful Game 5 and an awful Game 7. Norm Powell, who had a glow-up year because Paul George left. He goes to the Sixers. Now the Clippers rightly decided not to pay Paul George, and they said, you know what? New Paul George is Norm Powell. Congratulations, Norm. He had a good season. Guess what? Not that great of a series here. Yeah, look, the Clippers, not a lot of people had expectations for this team. I personally didn't. I had them outside of the playoffs looking in. Well, they proved me wrong. They were the 5 seed, and they took the Nuggets to Game 7 and gave them everything they could through the first 6 games, but it was that last game where nobody showed up but Kawhi Leonard.
What will be the excuse then? What do you think Clippers fans will say? What do you think the players will say will be the excuse? Because we heard LeBron say, well, we didn't have time to gel enough. We didn't have a center. We had all these excuses. I mean, excuses are for losers. That's just what it is, right? You can make statements for sure, but if you're James Harden, if you're that organization, what's the excuse this time? Another first-round exit.
I don't know that there is an excuse beyond that the Nuggets were ultimately better through 7 games. I mean, your top-line talent for the Nuggets showed up in Game 7. You had all 5 players plus Russ in double figures. It was such a runaway victory for them that they basically got to rest Nikola Jokic for the next round in this game. He came in towards the end of the fourth quarter, but he only played 32 minutes. He had 16, 10, and 8. That's a regular season, like, I don't know, late November, early December line for Joker, right? That's a team that came to play in Game 7. For the Clippers, they didn't come to play. Their first unit didn't beyond Kawhi Leonard. If you're looking for an excuse here, the excuse is you didn't show up. You weren't as good as the Nuggets. Flat out, you did not show up. And the offense, frankly, the Clippers offense, this is a team that's built around their defense. They needed a ton of offense tonight outside of Kawhi Leonard, and they just did not get it.
How about the game from Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown? Don't call me Christian Braun. I mean, they were excellent, right? I mean, if you can get production.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you like the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.